On the Navajo Nation, water is life. But for so many living here, it's also scarce. On a hilltop in Red Rock, New Mexico, we meet 82-year-old Lee Wilson. He's lived here quite a while.
Long time, 1946.
His family friend Charlie Bowie looks after him. They both rely on water deliveries to survive.
He's supposed to have running water a long time ago now. Long time ago.
He says rationing the water from these barrels will hopefully last them a month. Inside Charlie's home, we find reminders of the pandemic hanging from a rusty nail. He shows us the metal bucket and the wood stove where he heats up water, just so he can wash his hands. In Gallup, New Mexico, a team of volunteers is racing to help those without running water. Here, they unload 275-gallon tanks, which are all bound for Navajo families. Manning the forklift is Zol Zani. He started Water Warriors United when COVID-19 first hit the Navajo people.
Health is the first and foremost reason people can't wash their hands without water. Everybody's being told to wash their hands, to stay clean, stay sanitary, wash dishes, and things like that. And if you don't have water, you can't do any of it.
On the Navajo Nation, roughly 30% of the homes here do not have running water. That's left many people relying on the help of others, like the Water Warriors, to help fight back against COVID-19. Every day, they haul tanks of water to the far reaches of the reservation, to families who need it. The Navajo Nation is sprawling, about the size of West Virginia. So for some people, that means driving as much as 2 hours just to get water.
It's hard. It's really hard without running water.
32-year-old Brandon Brown lives on his family's land.
After I lost both of my parents, and I started raising my siblings, 2 boys and a little girl.
He hauls water every few days from Gallup, but sometimes the dirt roads become impassable.
I mean, these roads get really bad in the winter when it rains.
During the pandemic, others have had to learn to adjust. Michelle Jefferson built this makeshift hand-washing station, which sits right outside her home.
To my family and my kids, it's really important to wash our hands, try to keep this place clean.
She recently moved here from Albuquerque to care for her in-laws.
They're elderly, so they can't go into town, and I'm scared for myself too because I have kids here.
The Navajo tribal government has earmarked $130 million in federal CARES Act funding specifically for water projects, but there are limitations.
We're not going to be able to help everybody.
Navajo Nation President Jonathan Nez tells us between federal government red tape and the December 30th deadline set by the feds to spend the money, those much-needed water projects likely won't reach those who need it most.
We would love to have major projects that would extend a water line to other communities and get more people water, but because of the deadline, we're just going to have to include those that live within a short distance from a major water line.
Which is why Zol and his team are expanding their operations. These massive water tanks will soon be delivered to elders to help them get through the winter and weather the pandemic.
To say that we are living in third world conditions in America is true in a lot of senses, but it's definitely something that can be fixed. So all we can do right now is hope for the best.
With photojournalist Jonathan Deneyazi, I'm Nathan O'Neill for Investigates.